Hey guys, it's Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge. Sometimes I try to go too fast. We've got this little knife today. This is a knife by FURA. You can get it at GearBest. They call it the Mantis, but Dave Curtiss, the original designer, calls this the Nano, except for his Nano is larger than FURA's little guy. So a word that's smaller than nano. Got micro, nano. What's smaller than a nanoparticle? I don't know, something pretty tiny anyways. Yeah, the Nano has a 2-inch blade, so from the handle to the tip of the blade. This guy's like a less than 1.5 inches. What is it? 1.37 from the handle to the tip of the blade. So that's a fair bit smaller than a 2-inch blade. Especially at these small dimensions, 2 inches goes out to about here. So a fair difference in size. You can get a 3-finger grip on the Nano, but not on this guy. So a very little frame lock knife. GearBest has it in 4 different colors. You can get it in titanium gray. You can get it in a blue anodization, sort of like at the handle, the pivot area there. That kind of color, but all the way across. You can get it in this one, the colorful version. And you can get it in a blue and silver color combination where the high spots are blue and the low spots are silver, or the other way around, whichever way it is. S35VN steel is what they claim at FURA. FURA's been claiming that on a number of their little knives for, the last couple months anyways. The little knives that they have at GearBest. And other reviewers have done some checking on it, and there's a good chance it probably is S35VN. This knife is about $24 American right now. The Nano, you can find it on sale for twice that. The Boker Nano. The Dave Curtiss Custom is closer to $400 US. So let's take this to the tabletop mode and take a good close look at this little knife. I don't have an awful lot of small things to compare this to, but there's a Sharpie marker. Just the cap itself is just a tiny bit bigger than the handle. This is your standard Sharpie fine point. Not the really tiny point, but just what they call the fine point. Wee little knife. Wee little wee Wednesday knife that we have here. And we have a telephone to interrupt us. Okay, we're back after we're interrupted by the phone. It happens all the time. I'm doing these videos, and I record for a total of maybe 30 minutes a day. I usually get about 1 or 2 phone calls a day. Can you guess when they happen? Yep, when I'm recording. Okay, back to this knife. Woo, we got a nice little knife here. Like I said, it's titanium. They say it's TC4 titanium. I don't know titanium that well, so those of you guys in the know, but it's titanium. That's not a doubt at all. It is what they say it is. And stonewash blade there. So let's take a look at that, see if it will focus on that stonewash. There you go. It's a pretty good looking stonewash. When I do the microscopic close-ups of knives and I do the microscopic close-up of stonewash, it really looks terrible. So you really do have to get just a traditional look at it. So we've got, some people are going to call this a sheep's foot. Definitely if it's a Wharncliffe, it must have a flat blade. This blade's got belly, clearly. And so we've got a bit of a swedge right there. Let's let the thing refocus. We've got a swedge across the top there. We've got a little bit of a negative, a dip up here. Very good for thumb placement. The originals that Dave Curtiss designed all have jimping up here. So his customs and Boker's mass-produced versions of the knife have really fine jimping up here. No jimping on this knife at all. And their handles, I think the Boker ones are made out of Zytel. In a couple colors, and Dave Curtiss's you've got titanium versions. There's a carbon fiber handle version, and they're frame locks, just like this guy's a frame lock. On Dave Curtiss versions, the pivot screw is nice and big, and it overlaps just the edge of the frame lock arm so that you can't hyperextend the frame lock arm. This one by FURA does not have that protection. You could push that frame lock arm too far and break it right here if you so do. So you got to be careful that way. But Lockup is nice. There's ball bearings in here. I'll show you a picture of that. No blade play, locks very well, really nice. Lockup is, let's see if we can get this to focus. There you go. I don't even think we need a close-up shot of that. Lockup is nice and early, just like I like to have on a knife like this. No problem there at all. There's a nice chamfering on the edge of the handle everywhere. It's just refocusing way too much. There you go. See that chamfering all around the handle? That's really nice. Very comfortable in hand. And then those 3 lines that are milled out in there, that actually provides a little bit of purchase for your hand, a little bit better grip, and it looks good. So no problems there. Everything's nicely rounded. You've got 1 pillar for this open pillar construction. It's got a nice hourglass shape. The colorization just got way off on this picture. It's very purpley right now, but you've got that nice golden colored lanyard. Not lanyard. There's no lanyard hole. That's the pillar for the construction. No lanyard hole, no pocket clip. The Curtiss version and the Boker version all have a pocket clip. Dave Curtiss provides the pocket clips to Boker. So it's got an interesting pocket clip. This one doesn't. It's too small for a pocket clip, to be honest with you. And like I said, it is a fair bit smaller. I wish I had a version of the Nano around so that I could put them next to each other and you would see how much smaller this one looks. If I do end up buying the Nano, and I've had it in my shopping cart a couple of times when I've been at Boker, but I've never pulled the trigger and bought it. But if I ever did get the Nano, or if somebody here has a Nano and this, send me a picture of the two next to each other. I would love to see that. Just email it to CanadianCuttingEdge@gmail.com. The flipper works really well if you get it just right. Flips pretty good. I have to hold it just right and get that push down method. The light switch method of pulling back like that, I tend not to be able to get it to come all the way open. I've got to get it to build up pressure, and then I've got to get it to build up pressure on the end and snap out. And even then, I'm not getting it anymore now. There you go. That time I got it. So it doesn't work as a flipper all that well. It's just too hard to get a good purchase of it and then put pressure down at the same time. It's just so small and so cute and beautiful. But you can't easily just open it up, do a two-hand opening. It works really well. Let's talk about the measurements, and then we'll go on to see how well this thing works. Let's zoom really close for the measurements. Cutting edge, 3 centimeters, 1.18 inches. Blade length, so tip to the handle, right about in the middle of the handle, is 3.49 centimeters. That's 1.37 inches. The blade thickness is 2.94 millimeters, so 3 millimeters thick. That's 0.116 inches. The thickness of the edge behind the grind, so that shiny area right there, and it ends where my fingernail ends. I'm being very gentle because I've sharpened this on my TS Prof system. So right behind the grind, it's 0.77 millimeters, so it's fairly thick. Oh, that's 0.031 inches. So it's a fairly sturdy, flat grind here. It's heavy, strong. This is a knife blade that's not going to chip and crack and roll very easily at all. And I'm not going to pick it up and show you the pinch grips and stuff. But if you use it in a pinch grip, you can cut all kinds of stuff. Use it for all kinds of package opening, what have you. Time for some more measurements. Handle length. The handle length is 5.51 centimeters. That's 2.17 inches. So this full length is how long the blade is on the Curtiss versions. So you can see how much bigger that is than this one. The grip area on this guy, and I'm pulling it, right back here to most of the way through this curve. The last little bit, you're just not going to be able to get any purchase on. 3.7 centimeters, 1.46 inches. The handle thickness is right around 1 centimeter or 0.4 of an inch. That's a rough measurement. You know, it does change. It's a little thicker here and it's a little thinner there, so it's sort of the average. The total length of the blade when it's open, just like you see it right there, is 8.89 centimeters, 3.5 inches. It weighs only 34 grams, which is 1.15 ounces. A very small little knife. If you want to buy this from GearBest, it's on at regular price right now. Unfortunately, the coupon code OUT10OFF no longer works. I just made a purchase today. Today's Tuesday, the day before this video goes live, and the GB11 Knives coupon code worked for me today. Hopefully it'll work for you. That's 15% off, so hopefully that'll work for you. Otherwise, I'm going to keep hunting for a coupon code. Don't forget to check my Facebook page. I will update there with coupon codes more regularly. So if you, like, I can't edit a video and change it at all. All I can do is put comments in, and sometimes they get hidden and stuff. So my Facebook page is the best place to go if you want to look for coupon codes. The price of this knife, if you go to GearBest right now and you get it, US prices $24.51, Canadian prices $31.59. In Europe, the euro, it's 20.48. And in the UK, in pounds sterling, it's 18.45. And there's just a little bit of shipping on here, not much at all. And with GearBest, the shipping goes down per item if you buy more than one item. So when you buy knives, it's often good to buy, 2 or 3 knives at a time to help bring the per knife cost of shipping down a bit. And that's always a good thing to save some money, isn't it? So let's get this camera lifted up a little bit again. So holding this knife in the hand, how does it look? Well, I tend to hold it like this, so mostly you see hand. You can see my index finger right there. My middle finger sort of gets purchased, and my thumb gets purchased. And then your thumb can either ride up here or ride back there. So that's one way to cut. And the main other way to use it is to get your middle finger in this choil here, index finger and thumb, to do a pinch grip here. And then you can do all kinds of fine little cutting. And of course, it's right and left friendly either way. It's just a little bit more difficult to close it with the left hand than it is with the right. I tend to open and close this knife with both hands. That's just the way I end up using it. And I tend to put it in my little keychain pocket. No, not keychain pocket. My little watch pocket or key pocket, whatever you want to call it. I just tuck it down in that pocket. For me, my blue jeans tend to be a pretty good size, and so it's really easy to get that knife in there. You can get several in there, but you don't really want to because you might mar your titanium. So I just tend to drop it in that pocket if I have one, and I use it that way. I am thinking about different ways to get this thing onto my keychain, which is why I mentioned keychain. One option that I'm thinking of is maybe drilling a hole through that open pillar right there, right down the middle, and then weaving a little split ring through there. And then I can put it on my keychain with my keychain method. I'm a little hesitant to do that because I don't want to screw it up. It's a nice knife the way it is, and I don't want to wreck it. I might try, I've got some spare parts, and so I might try it with some spare parts, see if I can figure something out or do something with it that way. Titanium's kind of hard to drill through. I don't have any good drill bits to drill through titanium, so I won't be trying to drill through, one of these to make it so I can have a clip on there. Let's do some cutting and then we'll wrap it up. I've got some heavy duty USB wire here, and this pinch grip lets me, sort of rock right through this, and you can grab it a few different ways to cut through something like that, or you can hold it and you can cut through in that kind of method. And this is pretty sturdy stuff. That's another way to cut. If you have to do something thick, use your other hand to help you, or just use your hand and cut right through. This has got 4 strands of copper wire on there, some sheathing. It's a heavy duty outside coating on there. It's a strong material. Let's try cutting like 4 strands of paracord. Oh, I got through all. Nope, I didn't get through the last one. It must have just slipped off the end. It certainly is sharp enough to cut it, but it just moved over because wasn't enough room for all of them. And there you go, a little slice cut, slices right through these, no problem at all. We've got some paper. Cuts paper quite well. I've had this knife for about a month and a half already, playing with it quite often. Very enjoyable. Conversation starter. It does a lot of your basic EDC tasks. It's not a good knife to put in your lunch kit. You're not going to be slicing up your apple very well, because for the depth of the blade, it's not very big or anything. Did I mention the depth of the blade? No, I didn't. The depth of the blade here is about 1.2 centimeters, 1.3 centimeters, something like that. What do I like and not like about this knife? Okay, what I really like is the frame lock is nice and strong. The detent is awesome. Listen to it. You hear that? It just holds it very, very well. Perfect detent for this. I like that there's no jimping here. It's very comfortable to use this way. You don't need jimping on something this size, my opinion. Cons, I wish it had a lanyard hole or some kind of little keychain hole of some sort. And there's no over travel protection. They could have easily made it with a larger headed screw so that it could have over travel stop. That would have been a little bit more engineering, but not an awful lot. The grind, I wish the grind went up higher so that we could get something a little bit thinner at the edge, but they kept it true with the original. You know, it's a really short grind on it. It's a nice little knife. Great conversation starter. A nice little gift for yourself or for somebody else. It's not totally cheap, but it's not an expensive knife either. Being at less than $25 US, it's a good choice. I like the colorful versions that FURA is doing with this anodization. It looks really nice. And it's an easy knife to maintain, easy to take care of, easy on the eyes. So there you go. This is the FURA Mantis. Finally, one of their little knives that actually has a name. And thanks so much for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. You can watch a playlist of all my Wee Wednesday knives if you're into little knives. Remember, guys, always cut towards your chum. That's an old English word for friend, buddy, pal. Cut towards your chum, not your thumb. See how that thumb hides the whole thing? Bye-bye for now.